Hello, and welcome to Tuesday DJ Gig Tips, brought to you by Vibo, the music planning app. And thank you, Vibo, for being one of our channel sponsors here. Myself and everybody out there watching it does appreciate it. So, I discovered something this weekend that I'm calling the sandstorm effect. Before I get into what that is, I'm going to review a few things that I've been talking about in my last, maybe week's worth of videos here and there. And that is that I'm a wedding DJ, and that's primarily what I do. But once in a while, I'll do a school dance. And there's one particular school that I've been working with on and off for probably the better part of 10 years. They're a real good fit for me. I like them, they like me. So I went and I did their homecoming on Saturday, and there was a lot of stuff that was different. But if I go back, there's a lot of things that have always been the same about this particular school. Aside from being a fantastic faculty and a great group of students, they like about, I'd say, 2/3 newer music and 1/3 classics. It's about that ratio. But things were different this time around. It was mostly classics and very few new songs. I noticed that the way they were dancing was different too. Usually when I do this school, they're actually dancing to songs. This time around, they were more just kind of jumping around like you would to House of Pain to most any song that I played. It's a little different. The other thing is twerking has kind of been a thing. And what I like to do with this school is I'll play like a song they would twerk to, and I'd bookend it with something that they probably couldn't twerk to. But there wasn't any twerking that I noticed at this dance. And I'm not complaining about that one bit. But the one consistent at this school, it's never changed, has been Sandstorm. The principal will come to me towards the beginning of the evening and say, do not play Sandstorm until we tell you to. Because what I have to do is get my faculty and security in place because the whole room is going to completely erupt. We need crowd control for this. This is real. They'll come up to me and they'll say things like 15 minutes to Sandstorm, 10 minutes to Sandstorm, 5 minutes to Sandstorm, 1 minute to Sandstorm. And I'll time a set to go up to whenever they want me to drop it, when they have everybody in place. And yeah, the place goes absolutely crazy. The students are jumping up and down, losing their minds. And yeah, I'm thinking I did this school probably for the first time 10 years ago, or maybe even more, and Sandstorm was a big track. And there have been years where I haven't been able to go because I've had bookings for weddings and things, so I haven't been available for them, so I'll be back the next year, and sure enough, it'll still be Sandstorm. And I'm always surprised. I'm thinking to myself, this song's from 1999, yet it's still a big hit here at this school. That's pretty crazy. It's like tradition, you know? Nobody said anything to me about Sandstorm at this event. None of the faculty said a word about it. None of the students said a word about it. There was no request for it. But I know that this is the big track. I saved it for the last song, and I played it. And it got a very average response. Like, what happened? Was this the year that finally Sandstorm is just too old? After all this time? Why? And then after I was done with the gig, it occurred to me, why? In the social structure of schools, I think the underclassmen typically look to the older classmen when it comes to how to act and what to respond to and how to respond to things. They're doing it at dances. Let's say a freshman goes to a school dance for the first time. They're looking to the upperclassmen to see what's cool to respond to. What do you dance to? What don't you dance to? How do you dance? All of these things. And I know that most of the world has been like this. Where I live is like this. There are probably some places that weren't, but school's been shut down for a while. And you're thinking to yourself, well, they've only been shut down about a year, maybe. That's not true. They've been shut down more than a year. And if schools were open, the extracurriculars weren't happening at full capacity, especially things like social activities such as school dances. So I'm looking at this high school, and where I live, high schools are freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior. So there's 4 classes in high school. There's only one class, the seniors, who have completed a whole year of normal high school life. And that happened when they were freshmen. Because when they were sophomores, their year got cut off at the end. When they were juniors, there was no school. So they're coming back as seniors with no junior year experience. And typically you walk into a school dance and the freshmen have no idea what's going on. So they're watching the upperclassmen to see what to do. And it's monkey see, monkey do in this type of social experiment. And it works. And that's why Sandstorm was just always there, because the underclassmen would see the upperclassmen do it. And then, maybe by the time they were sophomores or juniors, they were doing it. And they were influencing the lower classmen. But it got lost during this pandemic, during this shutdown. And then I'm thinking to myself, wow, so I just DJ'd for a group of students where most of them have never been to a high school dance. Definitely not the freshmen. But neither had the sophomores, because they missed their freshman year. The juniors only had part of their freshman year. And then even when you think about the freshmen and sophomores, they only had a partial junior high experience, really. It changed a lot of things. That whole monkey see, monkey do thing is out the window. With just a little over 1 year of shutdown, it changed things that much. It'll never be the same. And I don't know if Sandstorm will ever make a comeback at this school. It'd be neat if it did. It would be really cool if it did. Because I think it's kind of neat. It was a little bittersweet that it was no longer the thing. But yeah, like I said, it didn't even occur to me until the dance was over. It was this way when I was in school anyway. The lower classmen are heavy at the dances. They all go. But by the time you're juniors and seniors, you're going if you're involved in the football team or something. But not everybody goes like they did as underclassmen. So the ratio of upperclassmen to lowerclassmen was pretty skewed. There was nobody to look to see how to act. So they were just kind of doing whatever they wanted to do. And that alone was kind of neat. They were making it their own. They weren't following anybody. They were just doing what felt right. And it was different. But I kind of liked that part. I kind of liked it where they were just kind of come into their own and not worry about what anybody else was doing. They were just going to do their thing. Because they had no one to look to know what to do. I don't know. But yeah, that's the Sandstorm effect. I hope that made sense. It's just so strange when you think about it, When you think about anybody in a junior high school right now, if you ever do junior high dance, none of those kids have ever attended a junior high dance. None of them. Not the 7th graders, not the 8th graders. If it's a 2-year junior high where you live, it is where I am. 7th and 8th grade? No. The 7th graders were home and doing the in-home learning last year. So they're 8th graders and have no idea what's going on. And then the 7th graders, obviously, they came in from elementary school, so it's a new experience for everybody. Kind of evens the playing field a little bit in a way. I just thought it was interesting. And something to think about if you are a school dance DJ. If you haven't done a gig this year, it's going to be different out there for you. It's going to be a little different. It doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's just different. So just be ready. That's it. Less of a tip and more of a, psychological examination of the social structure of schools in the fall of 2021. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. As always, I appreciate you. Practice and enjoy.